Okay, guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I wanted to do example of how you are supposed to do these quadratic formulas that have irrational roots. Now, there's two things. If they give you a quadratic that has an irrational root and it says round it to the nearest tenth or round it to the nearest hundred, then all you do is go ahead and calculate it using the quadratic formula and you just round it. But if they say um, the solutions have to be in simplest form, or if they say in the exact form or the exact root, that means that you gotta leave it as a fraction. You can't calculate the square root part. So let me kind of go through this. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a picture of this problem, show you how to do it. Um, so the A term, the leading coefficient is 2. The B term is 3. The C term is a -1. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to store those. I'm going to store those. And let me see here. Let me get rid of this. Menu 15. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is store 2 into A. That's the leading coefficient. Then I'm going to do 3 into B. And then I'm going to do a -1 and store that into C. Now I'm just going to type in the quadratic formula. So control divide, because it's going to be a fraction. And then, dang it. Come on, Greg. All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to do a negative B, because this is the formula, plus the square root of B squared minus 4A times C. And then the denominator is 2A. Now, I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be an irrational root, right? So what they're saying is they don't want a decimal form. They want you to leave this as a fraction. Okay, so what that means is, and the reason that this is a decimal, it's an irrational root, it's because of this b squared minus 4ac part. So what we're going to do is we're just going to calculate this, and instead of actually taking the square root of that number, we're just going to leave it. Whatever that number is, we're just going to leave that number. So let me show you exactly what I mean. So we're going to take the b squared, because this is the part that makes it irrational, 4a times c. All right, so boom, I press enter. So this part in here, the b squared minus 4ac part is 17. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and my answer is going to be x equals, it's going to be a -3 plus or minus. Now I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave that square root part as 17 because we've calculated that. So it's going to be 17. And then I'm going to do 2 times 2, which is, or 2a, which is going to be 4. So here is what you need, what I'm going to, this is what I'm going to enter for the answer. It's going to be a -3 plus or minus the square root of 17 over 4. So let me go enter this. So I can delete this and just go, let's see, delete the screenshot. So this, I know it's going to be a fraction. So I'm using this, and then it's going to be a negative b. So this is going to be a -3 plus or minus, and then we're going to use the square root. We calculated this part in here, 17, and then all we do is go down to the denominator, and we're going to put 4. Now let's submit it and see what we've got. All right, that's what you're doing. Now I'm going to do one more. So new problem, because I want to make sure you guys know how to do this. All right, now this one is not equal to 0, so we're going to have to take that a -3y squared and put it on the other side. So let me show you what we need to do. First thing, we're going to add 3y squared to both sides. We're going to get 0 here, so we got to add 3y squared here. So this is going to be 5y squared minus 19y plus 17 equals 0. That means that A is equal to 5, B is equal to a negative 19, and C is equal to 17. I'm going to take those numbers and I'm going to store them. So let me grab the calculator and do that. So it's going to be 5 stored into A, a negative 19 stored into B, and then we're going to have 17 stored into C. All right, so that's that. Now I'm going to go up and show you. I'm going to get an irrational root. I already know that. So when I press enter, you see it's got 3, 5, 8, 2, 5, 7, 5, 6, 9, 5. So that's an irrational root. They don't want us to leave it as a decimal. They want us to leave it in fraction form. So what we're going to do is we're just going to calculate this b squared minus 4ac part, and whatever that number is, we're going to leave it in the square root. We're not going to calculate it. So let me show you. So this is going to be b squared minus 4ac, a times c. Press enter. So it says it's 21. So that means that our answer is going to be, let's see, x equals, it's going to be a negative b. So this is going to be 19 plus or minus the square root of 21. That's what we calculated. And then down here, the a is 5. So this is going to be 2 times 5, which is 10. So this is what I am going to enter. 19 plus or minus the square root of 21 over 10. Let me delete this part. And then let's enter that. So it's going to be a fraction. I know it's going to be a fraction. And then I got the negative b part. So that's going to be 19 plus or minus the square root of 21. That's what I calculated. And then down here, it's going to be 5, 2 times 5, which is 10. Submit it. And that's correct. So, all right, that's what you're doing, guys. When they say simplest form and it's an irrational number, that means that they don't want a decimal. That means you got to leave that square root part, because that square root part is the part that makes it irrational. So that's what you're going to leave. You're going to leave that as a square root, and that's it. That's the only thing that you're going to be doing different. All right, so let me stop this.